at the Cubs 24 in one of those plays, Eric, you just rarely see.
Oh, I thought Ethan Tunnell was actually going to intercept it. It was actually a great throw by the quarterback, but it was a little high, so it ricochets off. I think Tunnell went up with one hand. I thought he was going to intercept it. And I thought
We are uniting Park National's family of banks under one name to serve you more.
This bank's about service to the community.
I mean, your customers become your family, and by and large, you become their family.
Customers do come in and they do feel like they're a part of our family, and they feel like they know us and we know them and we care.
Park National, our family of banks, all together now.
Kissel's Lawn Care. There's no job too big or too small for us to handle. With top-of-the-line equipment, we are guaranteed to complete your next landscaping job efficiently and professionally. A hard-working, dedicated team is what we take pride in, bringing to every job to make sure the results are the best they can be. So the next time you have a landscaping project that needs done, think smart and think Kissel.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to week number 11 of the 2020 high school football season. We are coming to you tonight from Crestview High School as the Crestview Cougars close out the regular season. Yes, I said regular season. We'll explain all that here in a second as they host Johnstown. I am Brian Harder along with Bruce Wyrick, and this strange, bizarre 2020 high school football season is coming to an end tonight for both of these teams. The way things played out, everybody made the playoffs. If you lost, you're able to pick up some games and kind of fill out your schedule, so to speak. And this is why Johnstown is coming here to Crestview to play the Cougars in week 11.
Yeah, it is really weird there, Brian. Usually, once playoff starts, if you didn't make the playoffs, you're out. And if you lost in the playoffs, everybody, took it really to heart and everything, and you were done, your season's over. But this season, you can come back into it. Crestview had 2 playoff games. They won their first one. They lost the second one. Instead of sitting out, not extending the playoffs for them, they picked up a couple games, and they played very well.
Johnstown actually won 2 playoff games, and they lost a playoff game. They're in Division 5. They beat Utica 56-13 and Wellston 31-6 before bowing out of the postseason to Ironton 42-0. Then they picked up a win last week against Cambridge 27-14. Now they had a forfeit, a game that they didn't get to play earlier in the season, so they've only played 10 games as well. They're 6-4. Crestview is 7-3. They were winners of the Firelands Conference. They finished in a tie. We have seen Crestview before. This is a team that's very well balanced, and they like to throw the football. Chase Shiflett gives them a very good option running the ball. Johnstown, on the other hand, they want to run the ball predominantly.
Yeah, Johnsville, you're going to watch them tonight when they come up, Johnstown. They're going to run a traditional power football game. They're going to have a fullback, and I don't think there's any fullbacks on any other teams in the entire area. Lucas may have a fullback in there, but the fullback is kind of a dinosaur in football right now. And he's the lead back. They're going to use him to block the isolation play. He's going to lead on the linebackers. They're going to have a power back in there, 3 men in the backfield plus a quarterback. And they're just going to run the ball down your throat.
Now, jumping back to the schedule portion for a second, having said all of that and how strange it is and how odd this season has been, a 6-game regular season and then everybody makes the playoffs. As a former coach, when you look at the final package, most teams are able to play 10, 11 games if they choose to do so. Did they make the best of a very bizarre situation?
And I think you have. You know, you have your good teams, and the kids, they want to play. And with the season teams are having this year, well, we didn't even know if we were going to have a season. I can remember you and I sitting wondering, are we going to have any games this year? And then you have the games. And when you have a good group of players and you have kids that are motivated and they want to continue, they'll pick up somebody and they keep playing. Your season will extend. And it's just great experience for the kids.
So, like we said, we have seen Crestview. We saw them when they won their playoff game against Evergreen, and it was a very dominating performance. They're a team, as we mentioned, that's very balanced. Ross Kuhn is a very solid performer at quarterback, 6'5", 190. He threw for over 1,700 yards. He also runs the ball extremely well, 603 yards out of the backfield. So he gives them kind of a double-headed monster back there at quarterback.
And the one thing I liked, Brian, was watching them in pregame. You can usually tell when a team is out there and they're kind of uptight. They drop the ball here and there. You know, they're not really loose. But these Crestview kids, I think they're ready to play tonight. They were driving to the music. Their heads were bopping. They were completing passes. The quarterback was in charge. They're having a good time. There's no pressure on them right now. This is just a basic football game. There's no playoffs for tomorrow. There's no championship for the conference. You're just going to play good old basic football out there, and they do a very good job at it.
His favorite target, Evan Hamilton. He's a senior, a captain, 877 yards receiving, 40 catches, 14 touchdowns. He's also their leading kickoff and punt returner. He was a guy that was really kind of held in check in the Evergreen game, so we're looking for him to kind of go out tonight here in style, as this is the last game he's going to play on this field.
And the one thing that I really like about this is Crestview is undefeated at home. This is their field. This is their turf. When they play at home, their game picks up. They have a different attitude about it. Like I was saying, you know, they're bouncing around out there. They were loose. They were ready to play. I think they could have played 4 hours ago and been ready. That's how these kids were excited. I got here, you got here early. They were already out there. They're out here throwing the football around. So even though it's the last game, they're out here to have fun tonight.
We're going to wrap up the 2020 regular season here from Crestview. It's Johnstown at Crestview to take on the Cougars next. And we are back here at Crestview High School. Those are the Johnstown Johnnies as they take the field here at Crestview to take on the Cougars to end the 2020 regular season. I am Brian Harder along with Bruce Wyrick. They come in tonight 6-4 overall. They were 3-1 in the Licking County League. They're in the Cardinal Division, and they're taking on a Crestview team that is 7-3, looking for win number 8 under head coach Steve Haverdill in his second season. He has really done a nice job of keeping the playoff tradition for Crestview going here in his second season. He's already got 13 wins. This is a program that is looking to do big things in the future.
Yeah, Crestview's great. You know, they got things going for them right now. Everything is moving in the right direction for them. And they have a good feeder system.
We're going to pause now for the playing and singing of our national anthem. So you were talking about the success that Steve Haverdale has been able to really continue here at Crestview.
Yeah, and, you get a feeder system, and winning football games, it feeds itself. And once you get a program going, the kids migrate into the program, they stay with the program, and they know what to look forward to. They will look at the seniors now, and when they're in 7th and 8th grade, they say, I want to play like him. I want to be like him. So it brings your feeder system up, and the kids keep getting better and better.
Well, and what I can really appreciate about what he is doing here at Crestview, it would be easy for some coaches to, when you're filling in the rest of your season, the way this has been, to bring some teams in that you would say that they're more winnable games. But he's bringing in a team like Johnstown. This is a team that is led by Mike Carter in his 19th season. He's got 157 wins. This is a team that back in 2018, they were defeated by Orville in the state championship game. This is a team that's won 2 playoff games this year. He's looking to really improve and build this program for the future, not just to get another W in this season.
And you're right about Johnstown. They are going to run the ball tonight. And when I was coaching, I was a run-oriented coach. We ran the unbalanced line. We kicked out. We ran a fullback. They're traditionally a run football team. They got a couple tights in there. You're going to see a power backfield. You're going to see 3 men in the backfield. They're going to lead a fullback onto your linebacker. They're going to kick out with the power back, give it to your tailback. They're just going to try to power you over in the field, and they do a very good job of it. And for Crestview to play them, I think it's great, Brian, because all season long you see other teams that mirror you. They throw the ball all over the place. Well, here comes Johnstown, and they're going to run the ball at you.
Now, we talk about teams, and the team that comes to mind is the Lucas Cubs. They're the team that really, they live and die by running the football. But a team like Johnstown, they don't line up in one of those unusual formations, but still the power eye, they still like to run the ball. They have not thrown a touchdown pass this season.
And to have a 6-3 record and to win a couple playoff games, that tells you something about their football team. One, they must have an offensive line that's doing a tremendous job.
Well, you're going to see later when we go through the starting lineups, not only do they have a good offensive line, it's young. So they're going to have this line for the next couple of years.
And one of the, a lot of people don't understand this, but one of the most difficult things to get a consistency with is your offensive line. And if you can get 5 young men working together, your center, 2 guards, and 2 tackles, and they do it, 2-3 years in a row, you're going to do very well. And to bring a feeder system in, when these seniors graduate, as a coach, well, this is going to replace this guy. Bobby's going to replace Billy. Joe can replace him. It's a feeder system that's just going to make your program better and better.
Talk about what does it take to really develop a feeder system that can keep a program sustained for the long haul?
The biggest thing are your assistant coaches. Your assistant coaches all the way down the line. They've got to believe in what you're doing as a head coach. They got to buy into your philosophy, and they're the ones that make things go. They're the ones that go out and recruit the 7th graders out. They're the ones that go out and get the 8th graders out on your team. So your coaching staff, your filtering system, they're the ones that bring them in.
I remember when I was coaching basketball down at Lucas, and I was the 8th grade coach, and I worked for Todd Krill, who was the head coach at the high school. We did everything at a watered-down level that the high school did, and we weren't. And I told the kids at the beginning of the season, and I told the parents, we weren't concerned with wins and losses so much. We were concerned with developing fundamentals, developing a familiarity with the terminology of the system, and it was a building process. In the 8th grade, you were expected to have these fundamentals by the end of the year, by your freshman year up through JV, and it was all planned out, and it was coordinated with the varsity staff.
And I used to do that with the coaches. When the JV team would come in or the 9th graders would get off that bus, I'd go up to the coach and say, did every kid play? And that was always my big concern. At the younger levels, every kid plays. If a young man doesn't play at a younger level, is he going to come out his senior or junior year? No, you lose him. So you got to keep those kids going. You got to feed them. You got to work them through your system, and they got to participate at a young level.
Crestview won the opening coin toss. They deferred, so they will kick off to start tonight's ball game. Devin Holloway, their sophomore kicker, has the ball teed up, and we are ready to go here at Crestview as they end the regular season and look for that 8th win heading into the offseason. Kickoff angle to the near side. It's Nathan Sheets trying to turn the corner. And Sheets gets up across the 35, and that's where the Johnstown Johnnies will take over. Let's take a look at the starting offense. The quarterback, Joe Sayre. The running back, Wes Myers. He's a 1,000-yard rusher. He runs behind Jaden Jacob, the tight end, the big tight end, Jake Lusk. The receivers, McConnell and Jackson. Up front, it's Grinstead, Keener, Kreiner, Hersey, and Preston Marshbank. They go to Myers' first carry of the ball game, and he is all the way to midfield with a first down. And the Johnnies are going to run the ball. That is their bread and butter, the defensive starters for Crestview after this replay. Actually, we'll take a look at it after this next play. We're going to see that all night long. Wes Myers and a steady ground attack by the Johnnies.
And if you notice, they're always going to have a lead back. They're going to lead a back onto the linebackers, and then whichever way that lead back takes his block, your back is going to cut the other direction.
Now we'll take a quick look at those starters. Jorel Taylor, he's a stud up there in the front, along with Frank Artis, the nose guard Morse, the linebackers Boland, Barker, and the Godsey brothers. And the safety, Addison Reimer, leads that backfield. There's Myers with his second carry of the game, gets up to the 40, 10 yards, and another first down for the Johnnies. And that time they attack the left side. It's the same result, another first down.
And one of the things you really got to look at this offense is that they're not running a traditional offense. They're going quick. They're running what is called the unbalanced line.
Sayre up under center. They stay on the ground, and it's not broke. Don't fix it. Another 10 yards on the carry down to the 30-yard line for Wes Myers. So 3 carries by Myers and 3 first downs for the Johnnies.
And if you notice, Johnstown's, they're coming to the line real quick. They're making it so they can't make the adjustments. Crestview cannot make the adjustments to get ready for them.
Myers again out of the I formation, still pushing the pile down inside the 20 to the 17. So they are marching right down the field. 4 straight carries, 4 first downs for Johnstown.
I can see a timeout coming by the defensive coordinator here. He's got to get his team relaxed a little bit. They got to make their adjustments. When this unbalanced line comes up, it causes some problems.
Now they give it to the fullback, and that's the shortest gain of the night, a yard to about the 18-yard line.
What I mean by the unbalanced line, Brian, you look at center, traditionally a team will have 3 blockers on each side of the center. Well, Johnstown comes up, they only have 2. They have a guard and a tight end they call it the short side.
Now they go back to Myers, and Myers is wrestled to the turf by Aiden Godsey. Godsey, the junior linebacker, a gain of a couple. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
And this is an offense that I'm very familiar with. This is what I used to run, the unbalanced line. We spread you out. And as a defense, you have to make the adjustment. You've got to overload. You've got to move to the 4-man side.
Backs in that I formation. Sayre's going to run the option on the near side. He stood up at about the 12-yard line. Up to make the stop, Addison Reimer, the sophomore, excuse me. So it's 4th down and 5. See if they elect to go with the field goal unit, and they do. Caleb Schneider, the sophomore, and he is a good kicker. 6 of 8 for his career, as long as 31 yards. This will be a 29-yard attempt. Snyder's got the distance. It's up and it's good. So with 9 minutes to go in the first quarter, Johnstown marches right down the field. They get a 29-yard field goal from Caleb Schneider, and the Johnnies are on the board.
And I think they kind of caught Crestview off guard there at the beginning. They came up in the unbalanced line. They were running a very up-tempoed game. I mean, they came to the line. They got settled. They snapped the ball right away. Crestview had a little bit of a problem making the adjustments early. They got 3 first downs in a row on big runs, but Crestview tightened it up. They started making their adjustments to the overloaded side, and they stopped them.
Take a look in at the Lucas game. They are down 14-0 to JFK. And we talk about teams that are built to run the football. Lucas is the prototype for that kind of offense, and that's a team that's not built to come from behind, and they're already down by 2 scores.
Yeah, they're going to have to start throwing the ball. Either that or their defense has got to stop JFK. But the thing I like about tonight's game, both teams can let everything go. I mean, you have nothing to play for tomorrow except pride tonight.
So Schneider set to kick off with the Johnstown Johnnies already with a 3-0 lead. It's a squib kick. And Crestview's going to have pretty good field position on their first drive of the ball game. It's going to start at the 45-yard line. Offensively, the starters for Steve Haverdill, 7-3 on the season. Ross Kuhn is the starting quarterback. Chase Shiflett, their leading ground gainer, is the running back. The fullback, Briar Godsey, the big tight end, Owen Barker. The receivers, Evan Hamilton. He's a good one, along with Gabe Smedley. Up front, it's Godsey, Ringler, Harmon, Stewart, and Hayden Morse. 1st and 10 from the Crestview 45. Kuhn out of the shotgun. They look to throw on first down. Swung out. It's caught by Hamilton, his first catch of the game, and he's got about 10 yards up to the 45. Defensively, the starters for the Johnnies, big Jake Luss, the big tight end, is up front, along with Angel Duarte and Braden Hill. Garrett Grinstead's the other end. The linebackers, Malachi Clark, Carter Druggan, JT LaRochelle, and Caleb Schneider. And the defensive backfield, Davis, McConnell, and Nathan Sheets. They gave him 9 yards on the reception, so it's 2nd and 1. Kuhn back to throw over the middle. It's going to be caught. And another first down to about the 21-yard line. And again, it's Hamilton. You know, we talked about him getting shut out against Evergreen, and already he's got 2 big catches here in the first quarter.
And you look at the scouting report, Crestview found a weakness in Johnstown, and they're going to exploit it. And if they can't cover number 23, it's going to be a long night for them.
First and 10, ball resting at the 22-yard line. Kuhn now up under center, backs in the eye. Shiflett off the right side, and he's close to a first down as he's down to about the 10-yard line.
Number 6, senior Chase Shiflett.
Shiflett, their leading ball carrier, 810 yards on the season, 15 touchdowns. And he gets a first down for Crestview as they can get a first down without scoring. Shiflett. He's going to be inside the 5, down at about the 3, and it's going to be 2nd and short.
And you notice they're having a lead back, and that's nice. I like seeing that. Anytime you can take a fullback, and some people will say, what's a fullback? Well, that's in the back. It's really an offensive guard who they're going to put a back number on. He's going to block. He's going to kick out somebody on the line or isolate a linebacker.
It's a gain of 7 for Shiflett, so it'll be 2nd down and 3. They stay on the ground, and Shiflett stood up, and he may lose a yard as he runs right into the teeth of that Johnnies defense. Hit on the play defensively, Garrett Grinstead. They've got a young defensive line, but very athletic.
In Crestview, it's kind of funny that they're running the ball like they are. You know, they come out to throw the first 2 passes, move the ball down the field. Shotgun, now the quarterback's up underneath taking the snap.
3rd and 1 from the 3. Kuhn's going to keep it, and he goes right into the end zone for a touchdown. So Ross Kuhn answers the field goal for Johnstown with his 8th rushing touchdown of the season, and Crestview has a lead. Holloway on to attempt the extra point. It's up and good. And just like that, Crestview marches right down the field. What did I tell you before this game that this could be a high-scoring ball game, and you laughed?
Yeah, I thought the defense would be player, but, hey, there's a lot of game to go yet, Brian. So I've seen this happen before. We saw it happen last week. A team scored 2 quick touchdowns, and then we thought it was going to be a blowout. Next thing you know, nobody's scoring after that. But it's fun to watch this. It's fun to watch offensives move right now. And, you know, Crestview, they throw 2 quick passes. They move the ball down the field. It loosens up that defense a little bit, and then they start running their version of the isolation with the quarterback underneath. Lead fullback, give it to number 6, and let him pick his play, and down the field they go.
Tonight's high school football broadcast is brought to you live and free exclusively on the OH Report. Thanks to our generous sponsors, Kissel's Lawn Care, Spraying, and Painting. Proud supporter of Crestview Athletics. Call David Kissels today at 419-571-1152 or find them on Facebook and get a free quote for your next project. Also by Black Belt Pro Fitness, your professional martial arts and fitness resource in North Central Ohio. Try 2 free classes plus a free uniform today with an award-winning instructor. Check out blackbeltprofitness.com for more details. Holloway sends the kickoff. This is going to go into the end zone. So the Johnnies will start their second drive of the ball game, now trailing 7-3.
But this is fun, Brian. We sit here, you know, I'm looking at the defense, but 2 offenses, 2 different styles. One's throwing the ball, kicking out, moving the ball. They go right down the field. Johnstown, on the other hand, they're going to isolate you, and they're not going to change their game plan. They're going to come right at you again.
Well, we saw 2 things, a couple things that we didn't see in the Evergreen game. They got Evan Hamilton involved early, set up the pass, which then set up the run, as you see a short run there by Myers for Johnstown. But they were able to get both facets of their offense involved in that first drive, and they made that drive look very easy.
And that's what you like. As a coach standing on the sideline, you're smiling right now. You got everything clicking for you. No penalties.
Gain of a couple. 2nd down and 8 for Myers. They stay in that I formation. And this is a designed run by Sayers. He tries to turn that right corner, knocked out of bounds at about the 29-yard line. Coming up to make the stick defensively was Aiden Godsey. Saar doesn't really have the normal quarterback statistics. As we said, he has not thrown a touchdown pass all season.
The thing I like about him, he's got jets. You know, if he breaks open, if he gets into the clear, he's going to make yardage. And he's a young man that this offense is built around.
674 rushing yards for the quarterback. But there's their leading ground gainer right there. That's Myers all the way down to the 40. And he's going to be brought down from behind inside the 30-yard line. And Myers is someone they have not been able to solve here so far in the first quarter.
And nobody touched him until he got 30 yards downfield. His offensive line is opening up the seams for him. That lead back is isolating that linebacker. And that young man can run, Brian. He's got some jets on him.
1,200 yards on the season for Myers. They give it to the fullback. He pushes the pile down inside the 25, a pickup of about 5.
You can see why they don't throw the ball, Brian.
They don't have to.
They don't have to. They can move the sticks just by running it. And, again, I can't emphasize how important that offensive line is up front.
Gain of 4 by Jacob. 2nd down and 6. Myers again. And Myers spun down from behind by Aiden Godsey, but not before he gets another first down. Myers is making this look very easy.
It's easy, and that's basically because of the people up front. And that young man is moving. He's picking up yardage. He's moving the stakes. He's getting first downs.
He's already got 87 yards, and we're not even through the first quarter. 4 minutes and 13 seconds to go in the opening period. Now they go back to the fullback. That's Jaden Jacob. Brought down at about the 12. They use that fullback enough to keep you honest.
And that's what those linebackers are doing. They can't key on your tailback. When you give it to the fullback, they've got to jam that fullback up in the inside, and that keeps your linebackers honest. They can't fly out of there and cover number 3.
Tight formation. It's Myers, left side. And he's going to get down to about the 6, and he's going to be close to another first down. Briar Godsey making the stop. As you see, they stand him up there at about the 12. And it's going to be a first down, so it's now first and goal. As the ball is now resting at the 6-yard line. Brandon McConnell, the lone receiver, goes wide to the left out of your picture. Sayer on a designed run around the left side, and he's going to get stood up, and he did not get into the end zone. Connor Morse over there to help out defensively for the Cougars, keep him out of the end zone. It'll be second and goal.
As a defensive coordinator, this offense is driving you headaches when you're trying to defend it. Once in a while, they'll come up with a balanced offensive line, then they'll come up with a unbalanced line. Right now, they're running the unbalanced line.
Second and goal from the 2. Myers on the left side. He's into the end zone, and just like that, 6 more points on the board for Johnstown, and their first touchdown of the ball game.
Myers with the 1-yard touchdown. And I can't emphasize how important that offensive line. Myers, that back, he is not getting touched until he gets through the offensive or defensive line and he gets to the secondary. The offensive line is handling the defensive down guys, and that fullback, lead blocker, is knocking down your linebackers.
Schneider will come on to attempt the extra point. Out of the hold of Brandon McConnell. Kick is up, and it is good. So Johnstown answers the first touchdown of the ball game for Crestview with a touchdown of their own. It's now 10-7. This may come down to who has the ball last.
And every once in a while you'll see a game like this that starts out, and you and I have seen them. You go to the first quarter, and it's whoever has the ball last is going to score. Nobody's going to have to punt this game. Defenses will settle down. As the game progresses, your defensive coordinators are up in the press boxes, and they're saying, okay, here's what we have to do. We have to make a minor adjustment here. And that's why you have a nice halftime. I love coming out in the third quarter and seeing the adjustments the coaches make at halftime.
Johnstown looking for win number 7. No matter how the season has played out, the goal for both of these teams is to get some positive momentum heading into the offseason. And they would love to leave tonight with a win.
Johnstown, they had a 2-hour ride here. Sometimes your legs are a little stiff after that, but I'll tell you what, they've come out and they're loose. They're ready to play ball.
We had the late start tonight at 7:30. Glad you could join us here on the OH Report. Be a squib kick. It's going to be returned by Gabe Smedley. Gets up across 35. So Crestview again with good field position on their second possession of the ball game.
I'm really anxious to see if they're going to throw the ball or they're going to go that isolation where the quarterback's under. They did well with both. And as you stated earlier in the ball game, Crestview is a balanced football team. What we mean by that, they'll throw 100 yards and they'll run for 100 yards. It's a balanced offense.
First penalty of the ball game is going to be marched off against Johnstown, so the ball will go up to the Crestview 40. Hamilton goes wide to the right. Kuhn again up under center. Coach Haverdale will mix it up as far as formations, and Kuhn started in the shotgun on their first drive. Now he's up under center, and this one's nice catch made by Chase Shiflett. He's got a first down and then some down to the 40-yard line. Pretty athletic play by Shiflett coming out of the backfield. Watch this reception as he goes up. Ball was thrown behind him. He makes Ross Kuhn look very good on that play.
It was. That was a nice play. Little misdirection with the running attack. The back breaks out, goes to the flat. Quarterback puts it right on. Well, not right on the money, but great circus catch.
Ball resting at the Johnstown 43-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Cougars. Now that's how Shiflett's used to getting the ball. Gets a couple of yards on the run up the middle. They're going to give him a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9. Rapidly moving first quarter as we approach 1:40. Glad you could join us here for this regular season finale between the Cougars and the Johnstown Johnnies.
Right now the offenses are leading the show, but one of these defenses are going to make a big play here real quick.
That's Hamilton wide in the bottom of your picture. And he's looking for Hamilton. He overthrows him at the 35-yard line. On coverage for Johnstown was Darian Davis.
That's his first incomplete pass of the night. He's tried it 4 times, completed the first 3.
2 of those receptions were made by Evan Hamilton, and the last one, the circus catch, made by Shiflett. 3rd and 9. And Kuhn will now back into the shotgun. Kuhn looks to his left, and it's caught. And out of bounds at about the, about the 32-yard line. Pat was caught by Gabe Smedley, and it's going to be good enough for a first down. That was a nice throw.
First down out of it.
So the drive stays alive. 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line. Kuhn kept the ball, and he's down at about the 28-yard line.
That was a
read. The play for the Johnnies was Garrett Grinstead.
That was a read play all the way. The quarterback, he puts the ball in the fullback's belly. He reads the end. If the end crashes down, he pulls it back out, and he runs it himself, and that's what he did right there.
Gain of 4, 2nd down and 6, and it looked like it took him a little while to read the play.
Sometimes the fullback doesn't want to give it to him, so the quarterback has a little trouble pulling it out.
Second down and 6. Little misdirection play. And Shiflett with a first down and then some. He's down inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal Crestview. And a lot of offensive variety here for the Cougars as they're mixing things up in their playbook very well. And this is a 1st and goal now inside the 10-yard line. And that may be the final play of the, well, let's see if they're going to get one off here. There's about 10 seconds to go on the clock. Kuhn fakes it, and he's got running room, and he's into the end zone for a touchdown. So Ross Kuhn with his 2nd touchdown of the quarter, rushing the football, and Crestview regains the lead.
And you might be right, Brian. Whoever has the football last may win this ball game right now. When you have a quarterback that can run the ball like that, that puts so much pressure on a defense.
Holloway's extra point is up and good. And there you see the replay. Kuhn right into the end zone for his 2nd rushing touchdown of the night. He's now with 9 rushing touchdowns on the season for the senior quarterback.
Right now, the defensive coordinators are down there on that field. They're talking to the staff, the defensive staff up in the press box, saying, what is going on down there? Johnsville's coaches are trying to figure out how to stop that balanced offense. And the thing I like about that, Brian, they'll throw the ball or they'll run the ball on you. Johnstown's a little bit more one-dimensional. They're just going to run the ball right at you.
Well, and neither team has been able to get that big stop.
Yeah.
Well, you can count the first drive for Johnstown as maybe a defensive victory. You held them to a field goal. So Holloway will kick it off, and this will be the final play of the first quarter. Myers from the 9. Myers with a hole, and he's tripped up at the 43-yard line. Wes Myers on the kickoff return, and that's going to do it for the first quarter. 14-10 Cougars as we head to the second. You're watching high school football live and free exclusively on the OH Report.
Customers do come in and they do feel like they're a part of our family, and they feel like they know us and we know them and we care.
Park National, our family of banks, all together now.
We are back here at Crestview as we start the second quarter. The Cougars with a 14-10 lead. This is Wes Myers on that kickoff return, 36 yards, all the way up to the 45-yard line, and the Johnnies with their first, really, I'm not going to call it a bad play, but it was a short gain of not even a yard. Well, we'll call it 2nd and 9 as they run right into the teeth of the Crestview defense.
Yeah, those linebackers are starting to realize what's going on down there. They're making their adjustments. The offensive line had a seam there, but the linebackers are filling it.
Got to give the defense for Crestview a little confidence there to start this drive in the second quarter. Neither team punted in the first quarter. Sayre now with nowhere to go, and it's going to be 3rd and long as this is the best-looking defensive possession for either team here so far in the first half.
And, your good teams, they always have a good defense with them. And, there's no way you can practice for the offense that they're throwing at you tonight. So it takes the first quarter to get the bugs out, to figure out where you're lining up, to work at their pace, and Crestview's picking it up.
Myers now lines up in a slot on the far side of the field. Sayre looks, it's caught, and the tackle is made at the 45-yard line. The pass was caught by Brandon McConnell. Let's see if it's enough for first down. It is. The chains are going to move. And Sayre able to get the first down through the air. It's 1st and 10 at the Cougar 45.
They ran a 3-man route. Middle man hooks up at a first down level, completion.
Back to the ground. That's Myers up the middle. This time a short gain to the 40, about the 43. Making the play for the Cougars, Mason Ringler.
And you can see that Crestview defense starting to stuff the seams up there. So what's Johnstown got to do? Got to throw the ball. So Crestview's defense is forcing them to do something they don't like to do and throw the ball.
Sayre, though, is going to run. This is a designed run all the way. Tripped up inside the 40, down about the 38-yard line, knocked out of bounds. Addison Raymer in on the stop for the Cougars. Aiden Godsey over there as well. 3rd down and 2.
And it makes it a runnable 3rd down. If you'd have got stopped short, and then you have a 3rd and long that forces Johnstown to do something they don't really like to do, throw the ball. Now at 3rd and 2, here they come.
And it's back to the ground game. And Myers gets enough for the first down, as he's going to be brought down at about the 33. Chains move. Drive stays alive.
That's his 10th carry for 100 yards, Brian.
And we are just into the second quarter. Myers on pace to have a pretty good night. Well, that's the good news for Johnstown. The bad news is they're trailing 14-10.
And as you said, we have not seen a punt yet.
Sayre on another design run to the right side. And he's got a first down as actually it's a second down as he just got past the marker. It'll be second down and 9. They give him a yard pickup.
And what that does, people say, well, he's not getting any yards. Why do they keep running it? Well, it spreads your defense out. And by him running to the outside, it moves your linebackers out a little bit more, and that opens up the inside game.
Little misdirection. And it opens it up for plays like that. Dodge Hughes with carry. And he's got a first, actually it was number 26, Nathan Sheets. And he's got a first down for the Johnnies with 8:36 to go in the second quarter. A rapidly moving first half here at Crestview.
Nice little counter play.
That play was blown up. Sayre runs right into the arms of Hayden Morse.
Yeah, it didn't look good from the start. They jammed it. The fullback got caught up inside. Quarterback had nowhere to go when he tried to get away from it. Loss on the play.
Loss of 1, 2nd and 11.
I think that might be the first play we've had tonight, Brian, where there was a loss on the play.
2nd and 11 from the 19. They'll run it, and Myers with just a couple. Connor Morse up defensively. So they're starting to jam things up in the middle there.
When you start getting down in the red zone, the defenses start tightening things up. Defensive coordinator starts blitzing people, tightening up the package, doing some stunts up front, anything to slow this offense down.
3rd down and a long 8. Sayre's going to look to throw, but now he's going to tuck it and run. And he's down out of bounds at about the 10-yard line. Jorel Taylor, big defensive end, makes the play.
Puts us down to a 4th down and 3, it looks like, Brian.
Well, the offense is going to stay on the field, so they're going to go for it here on 4th and 3.
And we know they have a field goal kicker. They plan on going for it. Big play right here.
Backs in the eye. They give it to Myers, and he doesn't get it. He stopped at the 10-yard line. He runs right into the left side of the teeth of that defense for Crestview. And right in the middle of all that traffic was Hayden Morse.
What a play. What a play. They took the isolation. They had a lead back going in there. The linebacker stuffed it. Nowhere for the back to go. Big play. Big stop on 4th down.
Well, and we talked about earlier in the first quarter the lack of that big defensive stop, and Crestview just got it here with 7 minutes to go in the second quarter.
And if Crestview can march down the field, they're going to put a lot of pressure on this offense.
Take a look at some of the other scores from other playoff games there at the bottom of your screen. Shiflett gets up across 15-yard line. Columbian with a 7-0 lead over Holy Name. DeSales 24-7 over Bishop Hartley. Kettering Alter and Dayton Ross tied at 14 at the half. Lucas, they're still down by 2 scores to JFK. We will hop in and out of that game all night long. Newark Catholic and Shadyside tied at 7 at the half. Marion Local and New Bremen 10 all at the half. So it's so odd to be in the regular season finale and we're following playoff scores, and it just feels like we're in this other dimension.
And it really is. But it's a great season. If you can play football, it's a great season.
Well, that's the thing. It's like we're still watching high school football in November.
It's a beautiful night.
3rd down and 3. Oh, that's the other oddity. Shiflett up across the 20. And he's got enough for the first down. The chains move, and the drive stays alive for the Cougars. So they're getting a little bit of momentum from that defensive stop.
But the thing you can see here, they're just not getting big chunks of yardage. They have to earn it now. Both defenses are starting to tighten things up. They're starting to relax. They're starting to get into the game plan. They're making the stops when they have to.
Who now backs into the shotgun. They stay on the ground, though, and not much running room for Shiflett. He'll give him a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Short gain for Shiflett. It's going to make it 2nd and 9 for the Cougars.
Pickering Central with a 21-0 lead over Mentor in the second quarter. Kuhn again out of the shotgun. Looks to throw, and this one's incomplete.
Tough throws for the quarterback. Anytime you're a right-handed quarterback and you're rolling to the left, it's tough to get the ball turned around, get your feet planted, and the ball sailed a little bit high for him because there was a receiver open. But 3rd and 10, 3rd and 9 now, Brian. What do you do?
Frank Artis was the intended target, the big tight end. It's now 3rd and 9, a passing situation here for Crestview. Kuhn again from the shotgun. Looks over the middle. He's got Artis, the big tight end, a first down and then some as he drags tacklers to the 44-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Cougars. That's power football for the Cougars right there. Take a look at the replay. Artis goes up and makes the catch. And then it's like, I'm going to hold on to the ball, and I'm not going down. It's going to take about 5 jerseys. What a play by the big tight end.
Play of the game so far. I love that. Wide open.
Kuhn fakes the handoff, and no gain as he is stopped at about the 43-yard line.
That's that replay. The quarterback's trying to read the linebacker or the outside end, defensive end, and depending upon what he does, he either gives it to the back or he takes it himself.
Justin Larichelle, the linebacker, comes up to make the stop. No gain on the play, 2nd and 10. Well, you can tell that Artis has been coached well because his number one responsibility was he wanted to hang on to the football. He knew he was going to get contact. Kuhn back to throw, and that time he just threw it away. He felt the pressure from the pass rush. Had to get rid of it a little quicker than he wanted to. 3:58 to go in the first half, and Crestview looking to add to a 14-10 lead.
And that was a nice adjustment by the defense. I mean, they're putting a little pressure on the quarterback. It's 3rd down now. See if they bring those linebackers. That time, they overloaded his side and brought more men than there were blockers, and they put a little pressure on the quarterback.
We haven't heard Evan Hamilton's name here in the second quarter. They swing it out to Shiflett. Try to get him the ball in space. Gets up to about the 40. Still short of the first down. So it'll be 4th and about 7.
Could this be our second 4th down stop of the night? Crestview had a big stop down at the goal line. Let's see what Johnstown can do.
See if they try to return the favor here. Ball resting at the Johnstown 41-yard line.
It looks like they're going to take a timeout, talking to the quarterback on the sides.
Here comes Kuhn running out onto the field. Now I don't know if the play clock expired or they did get the timeout called.
I think the coach called the timeout. They made the call. What the coach does, they watch that umpire in the back. When he gets to 5 seconds.
No, they didn't get it off. They're marching off the 5 yards. So now they're going to kick it. Maybe that was the plan all along. They just wanted to get a little bit more. Kuhn is also the team's punter. Averaged about 42 yards a kick. He angles this one to the far side of the field. This is going to take a nice bounce and go out of bounds. He's playing field position here.
Yeah, you're right, Brian. They took that penalty, moved the ball back, pins them, did exactly what he wanted to do, and pin that defense or pin that Johnstown's offense inside the 20-yard line.
So the first punt of the ball game comes with about 2:54 to go before halftime. Crestview now with a 14-10 lead as we saw all kinds of offense in the first quarter and nothing really here in the second quarter. Myers upended at the 19-yard line, a gain of 4. Well, you called it. We saw all those offensive fireworks in the first quarter and not a point in the second quarter.
And the defensive coordinators,
they were like, hey, we're here.
We're here. We're still getting paid. We're still on the payroll. They're making things happen. Game plans are starting to take effect now.
Sayre looks to throw. And this one's picked off. Addison Raymer with the interception, and Crestview with the ball inside the 10-yard line. And this one here looked like he read the quarterback's eyes.
Boy, he just stepped
and
right
the ball
in
was
front of
tipped. And you saw in the replay, the ball got tipped. Raymer in a nice spot to get the interception, and it's now 1st and 10 at about the 12-yard line.
That's where that penalty on the punt helped out, Brian.
Yep.
Field position.
Kuhn now up under center, backs in the eye. Shiflett bounces to the outside, cuts back to the 5, touchdown for the Cougars. 12 yards out, and Chase Shiflett gets into the end zone.
Great play call. There's a situation whenever there's a turnover and you have to make a quick adjustment, and the defense for Johnstown has to come back out on the field. They're not really into the game. They're not into the play right away. So if you have a special play, that's when you run it. And their Crestview's big play has been giving it to their tailback and touchdown.
Crestview with a 21-7 lead after the 16th touchdown of the season by Chase Shiflett. We talk about contrasting quarters. The first quarter was all offensive fireworks, and as you kept saying, teams are going to adjust, and they didn't even wait until halftime. They made adjustments on the fly, and the defense is really stiffened for both sides in that second quarter. And Crestview able to come up with the big turnover, giving them a short field, and they take it right into the end zone.
And that's why there's coaches sitting up here by us, up in the press box. They're looking down. They're seeing what's going on. They had a game plan already set, and sometimes you just have to tweak it every once in a while, move this man over, make an adjustment to this unbalance. Tell this inside linebacker, you key their tailback. Wherever he goes, you go. And whatever Crestview's done, they made the adjustments, and they're playing very good defense right now.
Wes Myers back to receive the kickoff for the Johnnies. And Myers takes it from the 12. And he is finally brought down at about the 31-yard line. Myers, their leading kickoff returner. He already has a touchdown on the season through a kickoff return, but this one is stopped at the 32-yard line, and that's where the Johnnies will take over with 2 minutes to go before halftime.
And one of the things the Johnnies got to worry about right now, their quarterback just threw an interception that went for a touchdown. So do you come out and throw the ball, or do you find a play where you get a little confidence back in your quarterback.
Sayre backs into the shotgun, and he's going to roll to his left, and I think he's just looking to run all the way. Play is strung out. He is popped by Evan Hamilton at about the 32-yard line. So no gain on the play. As you see Evan Hamilton coming right there at the bottom of your picture, and throws his left shoulder into the quarterback.
Good pursuit by the defense.
Now Sayre back to throw, steps up, and he's going to run. He's tripped up and dropped in the backfield. So the defense for Crestview, Briar Godsey, comes up with a play. It's now a 3-yard loss, 3rd down and 13, and the Johnnies quickly back to the line with 1:16 to go before halftime.
They're going to give too much time on the clock for Crestview.
Sayre feels the pressure. It's Godsey again, chasing him from behind, and he trips him up at the 21-yard line. Now let's see if a timeout is called, and it's going to be the case with 58 seconds to go. Crestview's going to get the ball back with pretty good field position, and again, the defense for Crestview now stepping up here in the second quarter.
And, they play good defense all year long. Johnstown comes up here, they run that isolation play, and that's a tough play. All year long you've been watching teams throw the football. They have a shotgun quarterback. Johnstown came up, did something they weren't ready for or they haven't seen in practice. How do you duplicate that offense in practice? You really don't.
Lucas still trailing JFK 14-0. They're now in the third quarter. Less than 6 minutes to go. Lucas going to the state title game last year. And they have got to play from behind here if they want to keep this postseason going. First punt of the ball game for the Johnnies. Evan Hamilton across midfield, and he has stood up at the 40. So Crestview's going to have the ball, 1st and 10 with 48 seconds to go and 2 timeouts.
And this is where Johnstown, they've got to make the stop. The last thing you want is for Crestview to score here and put you deeper in the hole. When you have a tough time throwing the ball as it is, it's tough to catch up.
Well, remember, Crestview won the opening coin toss, and they deferred to the second half, so they're going to get the ball to start the third quarter. They would love to tack on some more points right here before halftime. Kuhn straight back to throw. Feels the pressure. I don't know how he got that off. The ball, I don't know if it was incomplete.
Looked like it's a minus 2-yard pass.
Yeah, he would have been better off dropping the ball. Kuhn steps up, and that one is dropped right into the hands of Ronnie Benedict. But that stops the clock with 23 seconds to go. It's 3rd and 12. Well, the one good thing that does, it allows you to kind of just get yourself settled down.
Yeah, and, Crestview's in a 4-down situation. They're 12 yards from the first down, but they got 2 plays to make it.
They still have 2 timeouts to go, and the clock will stop should they get a first down as they reset the chains. They stay on the ground. Shiflett turns the corner. He gets out of bounds inside the 30. That does 2 things. 1, it's a first down. 2, it stops the clock with 16 seconds to go. So nice misdirection play there by Crestview. Everybody thinking pass. They hand the ball to Shiflett, and he gets a first down.
And the young man can run. We've seen that. He's doing a great job running the ball. Crestview, balanced offense.
Kuhn now backs into the shotgun. Swings it out. It's caught. A short gain, and Hamilton is taken out of bounds by Brandon McConnell. So a gain of about 4 to be 2nd and 6 with 13 seconds to go.
And what that does, even though it's a short pass, it sets up something for later. You get a few yards, clock stops.
Kuhn out of the pocket, lofts it into the end zone. It's going to be incomplete. Hamilton was the intended target. That'll stop the clock with 6 seconds to go. It's now 3rd and 6.
Pass falls incomplete, intended for number 23, Evan Hamilton.
Hail Mary, here it comes. Field goal.
Oh, they're going to go with the field goal try.
Connell on the coverage for the Johnnies.
This will be a 42-yard attempt by Devin Holloway. And it is no good. It was short and to the left. So Johnstown will get the ball back with 4 seconds to go. They're going to let the time just run off. No, it'll actually now stop with 2 seconds to go. So the Johnnies will get one more play. Well, there haven't been a lot of points in the second quarter, but it has been entertaining.
A little of everything. And the thing I like is the defenses are starting to step up, take their place on this field tonight. After the first quarter, I thought this score would be like 60-50 right now. But when you're 6-3, one team's 6-3, the other one's 7-3, you don't get here by not having a defense. And both defense decide to show up the second quarter.
Joe Sarr lines up in the shotgun, throws it over the middle, and it's almost picked off. And that'll be the final play of the first half. Crestview with a 21-10 lead as we head to the intermission. You're watching high school football live and free exclusively on the OH Report.
We are uniting Park National's family banks under one name to serve you more.
This bank's about service to the community.
I mean, your customers become your family, and by and large, you become their family.
Customers do come in and they do feel like they're a part of our family, and they feel like they know us and we know them and we care.
Park National, our family of banks, all together now.
Kissel's Lawn Care. There's no job too big or too small for us to handle. With top-of-the-line equipment, we are guaranteed to complete your next landscaping job efficiently and professionally. A hard-working, dedicated team is what we take pride in, bringing to every job to make sure the results are the best they can be. So the next time you have a landscaping project that needs done, think smart and think Kissel.
School where the Cougars with a 21-10 lead over Johnstown. We're going to join the Lucas game, which is about 13 seconds to go in the third quarter. The Cubs are down 14-0. Aaron Hines and Eric Will be on the call. We'll be back with stats right after this. You're watching high school football live and free exclusively on the OH Report.
In the Division 7 Regional Championship game, it's JFK 14, Lucas nothing. Back in a minute. You're listening to high school playoff football on WMAN. Lucas nothing, and a 4th and 17 to start the fourth quarter for JFK from their own 44. They'll have to punt the football away, and it'll be caught by the Cubs on the punt at the 24-yard line, their own 24 by Ethan Sauter, and that is where Lucas will take over just a couple of seconds into the fourth quarter. Thanks for joining us tonight. The Pediatric Consultants High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Pediatric Consultants of Ashland and Mansfield, featuring comprehensive care with in-person or telehealth visits. Learn more at OhioPediatricians.com. Aaron Hines, Eric Will, WMAN, teaming up with our good friends at the OH Report to bring you live high school playoff football, the Division 7 Regional Championship game. 14-0 JFK, just 6 seconds into the fourth quarter. Eric, huge drive for the Cubs. They start 1st and 10 at their own 24. Pass left side goes to Finello, and he'll be upended on a terrific defensive play by guess who? Cam Hollaball came up and made the tackle from the secondary at around the 27-yard line. That kid is everywhere.
I'll tell you what, that guy's going to be in your dreams. He might be scarier than Freddy Krueger. I'm serious. He is
Halloween
all over the field.
Week,
yeah, Halloween was last weekend. So we're doing. Hey, we're on Elm Street, man.
We are on Elm Street.
It's Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's
this
right.
is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even trying for that one, and it worked out.
Here we go. 2-yard gain. 2nd down and 8. Pressure coming. Smollen's going to roll through. Got a man. Again, it's Finello across the 30-35. He'll be tackled out of bounds by Likens at around the 39-yard line. That's a beautiful throw and catch. A Home and Kitchen Supply first down, and the Cubs moved the chains, just what they needed, out to their own 39-yard line.
Cubs moving the chains, and I'll tell you what, nice job by Smollen right there, getting the ball out. He literally buzzed the helmet of that outside backer, not quite getting his head around quick enough. You can see that he messed up on his responsibility. He's got that quick flat. When you're playing a team like Lucas, you're going to have someone run off, you're going to have the intermediate, and you're going to have the short flat.
10:55 to play here in the ball game. They'll hand it off to Grant Barrett. Barrett will not be able to go anywhere, as knifing in was the linebacker Abraham Rivera. Once Barrett got the ball, he was just standing right there, flew in, and will take him down at the 38-yard line for a 1-yard loss. That was a terrific defensive play.
Nice job instinctive there. Came in, did a nice job. Almost tackled the football from the quarterback. You always tell someone when you always tell your end or your back or whoever's shooting in there, tackle the mesh point because you might get a fumble.
2 wide receivers left for the Cubs on 2nd and 11. Smollen's going to roll, going to fire. Had a man out there, but underthrew him. I think he was going for the man at midfield. It was Sauter. He had a man out there a little bit deeper, and the guy deeper was Connor Harper. If he goes deeper, he probably has him, but that wasn't the guy you looked for. It falls incomplete.
Yeah, falls incomplete there. You're right. He was definitely hitting the intermediate route, and it was interesting because Harper had stopped in the route, and it almost hit him in the feet. And you know, for his efforts there, he gets rewarded by having to run back and pick up the ball. Remember, the officials aren't touching the ball this year. This is something that the offensive players have to bring it back to the center.
So it will be 3rd down and 11 for Lucas. Back to pass. Smollen's got some time. He'll roll. Got a man out there. Throws. The ball's going to be bobbled and dropped. Oh, the Lucas Cubs would have had a first down, or actually probably would have. It would have been close to a first down. The ball not able to bring it in that time was Connor Harper, as I think he had to stop
Yeah.
his progress a little to catch the football. A man was coming at him. He bobbled it and dropped it at around the 46-yard line. He would have been a yard or two shy unless he could have stayed on his feet. But it will be incomplete and bring up 4th and 11 for Lucas with 10:08 to play in the football game. They trail 14-0, and looks like they're going to punt the football from their own 38-yard line. Aiden Culler back to punt. Got lots of time. Good punt. Will boot it away. It'll sail to around the 28-yard line. Then take a hop inside the 15 and roll down near the 12-yard line. Good boot. Good roll. Aiden Culler, just what Lucas needed, as they will pin JFK deep inside their own 15-yard line. They'll spot it at the 12 with 9:57 to go in the game, and the Cubs down 14-0.
Well, and it's interesting because different offensive philosophies create different problems, but then it can kind of create different problems for you. So an example, when you're playing a team that runs as much as Lucas does, the kryptonite of that is falling behind early and then maintaining that deficit because you don't have that firepower to get quick scores and get the ball in the air. The problem with a really great air raid or spread team is they can't burn the clock when they need to milk it at the end of the game. So there has to be that fine mix.
9:57 to go in the game. 1st and 10 JFK from their own 12-yard line. They'll hand it off that time to the speedy back Likens. He'll plow his way off the left side.
It's halftime here at Crestview, where the Cougars with a 21-10 lead. Brian Harder and Bruce Wyrick as Crestview and Johnstown looking to both end the regular season on a positive note. And so far, Crestview, and we talked about the first quarter, and it was just like the pinball machine. The ball was just bouncing around all over the place, and didn't see a punt and a lot of offense. In the second half, the defenses really came to play, and it was a big defensive stand by Crestview that I think really turned the tide for the Cougars.
And it was, Brian, when Johnstown was down inside the 10. I think they were at like the 4-yard line or something like that, 4th down and 2 or 3. Crestview's defense stepped up, stopped them, and that's what changed the momentum of the ball game.
As we take a look at the halftime numbers, we see they're fairly even. The total yards for Crestview, 190 to 183 yards. They have a lot more balance, which we expected rushing the ball, 93 yards rushing to 97 passing for Crestview, 174 yards on the ground for the Johnnies, and only 9 through the air. But this is a team that all this season they don't want to throw the football. We saw the little look-in that we had at the Lucas game, and there's another team that's really not comfortable throwing the ball. But it looked like Johnstown a little bit more. They have the ability to throw the ball, but they just now we're going to see what they do here in the third quarter because they're trailing.
Yeah, and one of the problems I think Johnstown's got right now is that Crestview's going to get the ball. And they deferred. They're going to get the ball sent to them. And if Crestview can put points on the board on their first drive in the third quarter, that might be a nail in the coffin because the way the defense is now playing for Crestview, it's going to be a tough time for Johnstown to score.
Individually, Chase Shiflett, 10 carries, 76 yards, and a touchdown for the Cougars. Ross Kuhn, 8 of 13, 97 yards through the air. 3 carries for 14 yards. He did have 2 touchdowns there in the first quarter running the ball. For Johnstown, Wes Myers, 13 carries, 106 yards, and a touchdown, and most of that was in the first quarter.
And when they first came out, I think they kind of caught Crestview flat-footed. Johnstown runs a different offense than a lot of teams see. They run an unbalanced, and when they run the unbalanced, your defense has to make an adjustment, and they were coming to the line real quick. They were snapping the ball in the quick count. The defense wasn't really adjusting to it properly, and they had a heyday. They ran the ball very well. But as the game goes on, the defense starts to settle. The defensive coaches start making their minor adjustments. It goes from the press box down to the field coaches. The field coaches talk to the defense. There was no panic at any time for this Crestview team.
Our other sponsors for tonight's game, Park National Bank. Richland Bank may be changing their name, but not their philosophy. They're still your hometown bank, supporting your hometown teams. Same bank, bigger promise. And our player of the game tonight and instant replays are being presented by Kissel Spraying and Painting. Find Kissel's on Facebook for your next project. And tonight's scoreboard is being brought to you by Kissel Spraying and Painting as well. Contact Dave at 419-571-1152 for a free estimate. We're just a couple minutes away from the kickoff here to start the third quarter. And as I'm really anxious to see, we really saw a defensive clinic there in that second. As you talked about teams waiting until halftime to make adjustments. Now what do you do to really tweak things going into the second half if you're Crestview?
Well, you talk to your team when you bring them in. You say, good job, we're positive. We made our adjustments on field. We made them on the sidelines. Now let's get ready for any surprises they bring at us. We're slowly shutting down their run attack. They were breaking off yardage, like 10 yards here, 12 yards, one first down, another first down. They're starting to force them into third and long situations. Johnstown does not throw the ball very well, as we've seen. Had the interception for the touchdown here earlier. So everything is riding on Crestview right now. They have the game well in hand. They've almost played a perfect game. They've had no penalties. They've had no turnovers. They've only punted the ball once, I think, tonight.
Well, and there's only been one penalty in the ball game, and that was intentional.
Yeah, and they took an intentional one so they can have a punting. The coach did a great job. He took a 5-yard penalty, so the kicker had a little more room to punt the ball down in the den zone, forced Johnstown inside the 10-yard line on that, and touchdown for him. So great coaching football.
Well, the one thing that Crestview has in their favor as they head into the second half here, and most teams, when you've got a 21-10 lead, you want to eat the clock and you want to run the ball. They've got that guy named Chase Shiflett, and you're probably going to see a steady dose of him to start the third quarter.
And the thing you mentioned earlier, Brian, that I like so much about this Crestview team is they're balanced. If they can get 100 yards running on you, they're going to get 100 yards passing on you. And by doing that, that keeps a defensive team off balance. They can't load up against the run. They can't cover the field all the time with everybody and, stop the run. So I look for Crestview to come out, keep a balanced offense, move the ball down the field, running it, throwing the ball, one first down after another, and as you said, work the clock a little bit. Everything's in their favor right now.
I think when you take everything into account with COVID and the 6-game regular season and everyone makes the playoffs, if you told Steve Haverdale that at the end of all of this you're going to get a playoff win and you're going to get 8 wins on your season and you're going to be able to play a full schedule for your seniors and for your returning players and get them some reps, I think he would look at this as a win if they can come out of here tonight, especially with a win here against Johnstown.
And the one thing I noticed, and we mentioned this earlier, before the game, Crestview team was loose. They weren't uptight. The kids were having fun out on the football field. When the music was blaring, they were bobbing their heads. They were dancing to it. They were ready. And as you said, they're having a good time playing football tonight.
Well, even before that, when I got here at about 4:30, there was a bunch of the players over on the steps, and they were just – you can tell they were just enjoying, just kind of hanging out. And you kind of got the sense, this is the last game, and they're just trying to soak it all in. And then they were having fun, and they were just there was no pressure. They weren't, just so out of it emotionally that they were coming in here nervous. They seemed very relaxed. And here we go to start the third quarter. Coming around to the near side, that's Gabe Smedley on the return. He gets up across the 35, so the Cougars will start with pretty good field position to start things off here in the third quarter.
And I look for them to come out and do what they did the second quarter. Move the stakes, take your time moving it down the field, get a steady dose of their tailback running the ball, and when the linebackers step up to stop him, look for that tight end over the middle.
1st and 10 at the 38-yard line. They stay on the ground. And the first carry of the second half goes to Briar Godsey. And he gets about 4 yards.
That was a good play. You get 4 or 5 yards out of that. You give it to your fullback. What that does, that forces those linebackers to stay inside. Now look for them to go wide a little bit. Use that fullback as a blocker. Give it to your tailback.
Coon again up under center, and now he's going to throw on second down. Lost it right side, looking for Hamilton. He comes back to the ball, makes the reception at the 35-yard line. The ball was thrown behind Hamilton, as you're going to see here. He does a nice job of breaking his route and coming back to the ball. Makes the reception, forced out of bounds there at the 35, but
this is that balanced offense we've been talking about the whole ball game, Brian. Little run, little pass.
Godsey again as the fullback, but they're going to stay with Shiflett, and he runs right into Caleb Schneider.
You can see the adjustment that they're making. Johnstown, wherever he goes, our linebackers going with him. They're going to try and shut him down.
No gain on the play, second down and 10. As we approach the 10.5-minute mark of the third quarter, Crestview trying to add to a 21-10 lead. It was 14-10 after the first quarter. Shiflett bounces to the outside, and he's got a first down, still on his feet inside the 20, finally brought down about the 18-yard line. And Shiflett not wanting to go down, Carter Druggan over to make the stop.
You know, Brian, his speed is deceiving. It doesn't look like he's very fast, but when he outruns the entire defense going to the left, the young man's got some jets to go with it.
Garrett Grinstead helping out defensively as well. Druggan was just kind of hanging on for dear life. First and 10 at the 20. Now Coon backs into the shotgun. Shiflett turning the corner. A flag comes in as Shiflett is down at the 9-yard line. Let's see what the penalty is. It comes flying in out of the defensive backfield.
Looks like we got a hold play on Crestview.
So if you don't count the intentional penalty in the first half, this is really Crestview's first penalty of the ball game. So that backs them up to the 28-yard line and makes it first and about 17.
The thing I like about this is it's always within Crestview's reach. They can throw the ball, run the ball. 17 yards of them is nothing.
Coon holds on to it, and again, he is brought down. Justin Larichelle.
That's something we haven't seen, Brian, where the quarterback's trying to read, see what they're doing up front. The offensive coaches must have picked up something from game films. You know, maybe that linebacker was bailing out of there too fast on the play fake, so the quarterback pulls it out and tries to run up inside.
Second and long, and Coon now comes up under center, backs in the eye. And he looks to throw. Caught out of the backfield. That's Godsey. And Godsey, did he get into the end zone? Yes, touchdown for the Cougars. 27 yards on the reception. As we take a look at the replay here, Coon with a nice throw out of the backfield. And then Godsey does the rest. Actually was pushed into the end zone by Caleb Schneider. The extra point is up and good. And Crestview adds to their lead, 28-10, 8:50 to go in the third quarter. The first touchdown pass of the ball game for Coon, and that's touchdown pass number 18 on the season.
It's not panic yet for Johnstown, but they're slowly digging themselves into a hole where they're going to have to come out and start throwing the ball to move the football up the field. Now, this is an important drive for Johnstown. They've got to get momentum back on their side, and they got to move the sticks and at least pin Crestview deep in their territory before they turn the ball over to them.
Lucas now down by 3 touchdowns with 3:17 to go. So it looks like the season is going to be over for the Lucas Cubs. Their offense has really struggled here in this regional final against JFK. And as we saw there at the end of the third into the fourth quarter, they are not built to throw the football. Kick angled to the near side from the 20-yard line. That's Nathan Sheets. And Sheets tripped up at the 30. Hayden Kuhn makes the special teams play for the Cougars. So here come the Johnnies, now down 28-10.
We know what the Crestview offense can do. They just showed it to us. They can score whenever they want. They had a first and 17, made it up like nothing. See what the defense can do now.
They'll stay on the ground. That's Myers. He stood up at 35, a gain of 5 for Wes Myers.
Wes Myers with the carry. Johnstown tackler on the play for the Cougars, number 2. Right?
Myers with 106 yards in the first half.
He's a workhorse for him. And I'm not saying time's not on their side, but they've got to move the football.
Stay with the ground game, does Johnstown, and another first down. So this drive starts a lot like their first drive of the ball game, although Myers' first 3 carries resulted in first downs. That time it took him 2 to get a first down. It's 1st and 10 just across the 40.
And they're moving the sticks. They're doing what they have to do. They want to get within 1 or 2 touchdowns going into the fourth quarter.
Sayre with the fake. He's going to keep it. And he is brought down across midfield. Connor Morse up to make the tackle. And that's another first down. And Johnstown moving the ball here, Bruce.
And that's what they have to do. They have to move the sticks. They got to work their way down the field. But they can't get stopped in the red zone. They've got to get points on the board. They have to cut into this Crestview lead.
Myers off right tackle, and he's upended at about the 43-yard line. And this is what they did to start the game. Just right tackle, left tackle, just that offensive line, young and big, and opening up some holes. It's now 2nd and 4, excuse me.
They're a good ball club. When you can run the ball like they do, they're very good. All they got to do is add a little passing attack to it, and they'll develop that next year. They got a great coaching staff.
Sarr with the ball fake. He's going to keep it. The pile falls forward. Still short of the first down as he gets to about the 40. 6:36 to go in the third quarter. Crestview up 28-10.
And these are the plays. It's a 3rd and 2 now. This is where they've got to move the stakes. They got to get that 3rd down marker in for the first down.
Myers, right tackle, first down. Brought down at the 35-yard line. It's nothing fancy, but it is effective as they have another first down to the Crestview 35-yard line.
This is their bread and butter. They just run the football, lead back.
Myers upended at the line of scrimmage, but he falls forward. Got about 3 yards, 2nd and 7.
That young man's carried the ball 18 times already. I wonder what he feels like tomorrow morning, Brian.
Well, if they win, he's going to feel a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
Pick up a 4, 2nd down and 6. Again, Myers down across the 30. Still short of the first down. It's going to be 3rd down and about 3.
And here we are again in a third down situation. Each third down is getting a little bit longer, though. Last time it was 3rd and 2. Now it's 3rd and 3.
Frank Artis came up to make the stop. Myers busts through, another first down. He finds the hole on the right side of that line. Here we see the replay, and just goes right between the guard and the tackle, and it's another first down to about the 20-yard line.
147 yards for the young man on 20 carries. What a night so far.
Now they give it to the fullback, Jaden Jacob. Runs right into the heart of the Crestview defense, but picks up about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7.
And it is so important for Johnstown to score on this drive. Keeps the momentum going.
And Myers right behind the fullback, and he stood up at about the 15. That brings up 3rd and 5 as we're under 4 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Myers with the carry once again. Ringler and Artis again on the tackle.
Now Starr out of the shotgun. He's going to run, and he runs right into Evan Hamilton. Briar Godsey, excuse me.
And here we are, Brian. We're in another 4th down situation.
Well, the play call's a little easier because now you're down 28-10. So the offense going to stay on the field, or is it? No, they're going to go for another field goal.
Another field goal. When you have a weapon like they have in a kicker, it's almost an automatic 3 points for them.
So it's a 32-yard attempt, excuse me. And it's blocked.
Picked off.
So the Cougars able to come up with a block. So we talked about the weapon, but the blocking failed Johnstown. And see if we can see who comes through and gets the block. What a big defensive play for Crestview, and the Cougars get the ball back.
That's just like a 4th down stop, Brian. That's twice they've stopped them down there.
Almost the same spot of the field.
And Crestview now has everything going in their favor.
Connor Morse came up with the block.
Personal foul.
A personal foul on the return.
That's Crestview's 2nd penalty of the night. 25 yards total.
Personal foul against the Cougars. That's going to back them up. Cougars are going to take over 1st and 10.
So that'll make it 1st and 10 all the way back to the 11. So the Cougars will start 89 yards from their end zone. 1st and 10 on the 11 with 2:49 to go in the third quarter. Still on the ground at Shiflett and runs right into the left side of that defense. They have lost a yard. It'll be 2nd and 11.
Crestview's just going to take their time, let the clock work its way down. Time is on their favor right now.
2 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the third quarter. Kuhn looks to throw, swings it out. Reception made by Gabe Smedley. But he's still going to be short of the first down. It's going to be 3rd and about 5.
big defensive stop for Johnstown right here. If they can stop them, force them to punt the ball, they're going to get the ball in very good field position. And they need points bad.
Kuhn now backs into the shotgun, but they elect to stay on the ground. Shiflett cuts back, has the first down across the 35. He's finally brought down at the 36. And that's a back-breaking play for Crestview as the defense almost had them off the field.
And it's going to work the clock for them, gives them momentum.
And they keep possession of the ball.
And just when I thought they were going to throw the ball, what do? They run it down your throat, right up the middle.
1st and 10 at the Crestview 36. Shiflett again. He tries to reverse his field. He stood up at the line of scrimmage. Caleb Schneider from his linebacker spot helping out on the play. A loss of about a yard. It'll be 2nd and 11 as we're under a minute now, 44 seconds to go before the end of the third quarter.
And this is what Crestview does very well. They control the flow of the game with their offense. They have a balanced team. They'll throw it. They'll pass it. You can't guess on them. You never know what they're going to do.
Well, they've had downs. They've had a couple here in this game where you thought it was a passing down and they gave the ball to Shiflett. Kuhn with plenty of time. Another first down across midfield, out of bounds at about the 49-yard line. It's caught by Owen Barker. Chains move again with 16 seconds to go. And the drive stays alive for Crestview.
Like we said, Brian, they're a very balanced team. They'll hurt you with the run. They'll throw the ball on you. And they're moving the stakes, and the clock is rolling.
And that is going to be the final play of the third quarter. They're not even going to try to approach the line of scrimmage. It's been all Crestview here as we head to the fourth quarter. The Cougars 28 and Johnstown 10. You're watching high school football live and free exclusively on the OH Report.
Customers do come in and they do feel like they're a part of our family, and they feel like they know us and we know them and we care.
Park National, our family of banks, all together now.
The Cougars with a 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. Kuhn's going to run it on first down, gets across the 45 into the just inside the 40-yard line, knocked out of bounds by Braden Glaze. Darian Davis on the stop, and a first down on the carry by Kuhn.
Brian, what Crestview's doing is they're defining their football team for next year. They're telling everybody, hey, this is what we're doing. We run the ball, we throw the ball, we balance the field, and we play great defense and specialty teams.
This drive started all the way back at the 11. Shiflett, little misdirection, gets across the 35 down to about the 34. Pickup of about 4.
Shiflett with the carry for the Cougars.
117 yards for that young man tonight so far, Brian. 16 carries.
Grinstead making the stop after a gain of 3. Kuhn back to throw. Looks left side, has Hamilton, but he's well overthrown.
Well, we're going to get a penalty on this one. When he was running up the sidelines, the defensive player grabbed his jersey, kind of pulled him back.
Yeah, the defensive coaching staff, as they game plan, they know who Evan Hamilton is. Yeah, they know what he can do and bring to an offense, and that would have been the final dagger had they connected on that long pass down the near sideline, and the Johnnies knew it.
And that's a coaching move sometimes. You have some of your defensive back coaches, hey, if you're going to get beat and it's going to be a touchdown, pull him down.
1st and 10 inside the 25. That's Hamilton in motion to the far side, and there's flags. Now it's going to be a procedure call against Crestview.
That's Crestview's 3rd penalty of the night.
It's their 2nd of the second half.
And the first one was intentional, so.
So it's now 1st and 15. Ball now at the 29-yard line. Little misdirection again to Shiflett. He gets down to 25. In on the stop for the Johnnies was Caleb Schneider from his linebacker spot.
And one of the biggest problems Johnstown has right now is it's tough to score when you're on defense, and Crestview's just taking it one step at a time, working the clock down.
And those steps are slow.
And they're
not in a
very
hurry.
slow.
2nd and 11. Kuhn feels the pressure, looks over the middle, and it's incomplete as he was trying to hit Smedley on the slant.
Nice presence of mind by the quarterback. He saw the defensive guy coming at him, and when you're that tall, it's really tough to duck underneath a tackler, and he tucked under the tackler, and he still got the ball off.
So 3rd and long now for the Cougars with 9:58 to go. 9 minutes and 58 seconds stand between them and their 8th win of the bizarre 2020 season. And there's probably another offensive penalty.
Offsides on Crestview.
Looks like they're going to say Smedley may have lined up offside. So that'll make it 3rd down and 16.
This is very uncharacteristic of Crestview, this ball game, with the penalties in a row like that.
Well, they've played a pretty clean ball game, especially in the first half, and now they got the lead, and they're just trying to close it out.
And they are a very good ball club.
Kuhn now back under center. He looks to throw, swings it near side. It's caught by Morse. Is finally forced out of bounds.
Nice.
Darian Davis, as they look to complete the swing pass on the near side. And Connor Morse does a nice job after the reception. Sets up a 1st and goal.
Excellent play call. Screen play to the weak side. Quarterback, they get everything going in one direction and throw it back to the weak side.
We've seen a little bit of everything out of the Crestview playbook.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
1st and goal from the 9. Now they stay on the ground. That's Morse. Brandon McConnell up to make the stop. Connor Morse, a 5'9", 165-pound junior, so he's a look at the future of the running back spot as Shiflett will graduate. And Shiflett's night may be done.
He's had quite a night. 122 yards on 17 carries. He's the one that's been getting the tough yards for him when they needed it, keeping this offense balanced.
Kuhn out of the gun. He's going to run it. Gets around the corner of the left side, gets into the end zone for a touchdown. So the Crestview quarterback with his third rushing touchdown of the night. And that's the final nail in the coffin.
It's going to be tough. I mean, the way Crestview's playing right now, they're at home. It's a beautiful night. Last game of the season for them. They are playing like a team possessed right now. Everything's going in their favor.
Holloway's extra point is up, and it's good. So Crestview now with a 35-10 lead with 8:35 to go. Take a look at some of the other scores there at the bottom of your picture. Lima Central Catholic all over Hopewell Loudon, 62-20. Newark Catholic and Shady Side in a tight one in the fourth quarter. Marion Local down by 7, 24-17. Pickerington Central 21-14 over Mentor in the third. Springfield up over St. Xavier 10-9. Avon Lake down by a field goal. And Maslin Perry. A rough night for Perry. Chardon over Canfield, 38-6. Tiffin Columbia with a 10-point lead over Holy Name. And here it's Crestview with a commanding 35-10 lead, 8:35 to go in the ball game. McConnell brought down at about the 40, so that's where the Johnnies will take over 1st and 10.
And this is a situation where the Johnnies did not want to be in. There's not much time on the clock. You're behind a few points. You got to move the ball. You're not a good passing team. And I think you mentioned it early, Brian. How many touchdowns do they have throwing the ball?
None. Will that streak be broken here in the fourth quarter? Czar is going to run the ball, and he is stood up at the 44-yard line, knocked out of bounds by his counterpart, Ross Kuhn.
And when you haven't scored a touchdown throwing the ball all season long, it's going to be tough to do that against this Crestview defense.
Gain of 5, 2nd down and 5. Sar's going to run it, and he pushes the pile, and forward progress. Actually, a second effort's going to get him the first down as he pushes the pile across midfield. Getting up at the bottom of the pile for Crestview is Jorel Taylor. So it'll be a first down for the Johnnies at midfield.
Crestview's offense is just not built when you're down 25 points and you need 3 quick scores. I still like their hustle.
Sar back to throw, and he's dumped at the 43-yard line. Virtually untouched coming in from the backside, Briar Godsey.
And when you're not used to throwing the football, and this hats off to the Crestview defense, their coaches know, hey, weak side attack, we're going to go after the quarterback. Quarterback's rolling to his right. He doesn't see he doesn't have eyes in the back of his head, and big sack.
Third tackle for a loss on the season for Godsey. Saar flushed out of the pocket. Gets up to about the 48-yard line. Evan Hamilton over there defensively for the Cougars.
This is a key play for Johnstown. You're at a third down, 13 yards. You don't throw the ball well.
And a timeout is going to be, well, it's officials' timeout as they wait for the back judge to get into position. Saar looks, throws, caught, but well short of the first down. The reception made by Brandon McConnell. So it's 4th and 5, and likely the offense will stay on the field for the Johnnies. As you see, Saar with a nice throw, still well short of the first down. Over there defensively, Tanner Moore. Saar. It's going to be caught. And that's a first down as Jake Lusk with his first catch of the ball game, the big tight end. And that'll move the chains. It'll stop the clock with 5:58 to go. The drive's still alive for the Johnnies.
They found their tight end. Big man on the football field, moves the stakes, keeps the drive alive.
Big 6'4", 245-pound senior. Saar going to reverse his field and knock down at about the 30. Evan Hamilton over there defensively.
Great job by the Crestview defense keeping the quarterback contained as they are.
About 3 yards, but yeah, nice little shove there by Hamilton at the end of the play. Saar looks to throw again. This one incomplete. Behind Brandon McConnell. 5:23 to go.
That's Johnstown's 6th pass attempt tonight. They've completed 3 for a total of 29 yards. Coming into the game, we knew they were not a passing team.
Timeout taken by Crestview with 5:23 to go. People would look at the score and look at the scoreboard and wonder why the timeout taken by the Cougars.
Looks like they're changing some equipment around. They got a couple players running around with their helmets getting adjusted. Maybe just want to get a drink for the kids.
So Crestview is going to get their 8th win of the season. And they're going to be able to go into the offseason on a positive note. And as you mentioned, this kind of sets the tone and sets the table for their offseason. And they're hoping and praying that the offseason this year prepares them for a different season than they saw in 2020.
Yeah, what a mixed-up year. I can remember you and I sitting wondering, is there going to be a season?
Well, that was the big question mark heading right into. Then they decided on the 6-game schedule, and fortunately, we've been able to get the entire season in, and we're almost to the state play or the finals of the state playoffs. Saar back to throw on 3rd down, and it's dropped. The big tight end had it right in his hands, and he drops it.
And bringing about next year a little bit, what do you think about every team being in the playoffs this year, Brian?
I think because of the abbreviated season, it was probably the fairest thing to do. Because you can't really do the computer points after 6 games. Saar on 4th down, cuts back, has a first down, and then some. He's into the end zone.
30-yard run.
So Joe Saar, the quarterback for the Johnnies, well, they get the 4th down conversion and then some. Ran right through the arms of Connor Morse.
And that's the speed of that young man. He outran everybody.
The sixth rushing touchdown of the season for the Johnnies quarterback. Caleb Schneider on to attempt the extra point. It's up and good. So with 5:11 to go, Crestview's lead is now trimmed.
Is it too early to run an onside kick here, Brian?
Well, you know what? You're probably in a position that why not? I mean, what do you have to lose at this point?
And you need the ball because you know if Crestview gets the ball, they're going to take the clock down to inside 2 or 3 minutes.
There's another look at the touchdown run. 35-17, 5:11 to go. You know the Crestview coaching staff not happy about the touchdown run.
And sometimes when you're ahead, you start putting in some different players, and they're not as versed as your first team. A little bit of a breakdown here or there. And when you're running against some of the athletes that Johnstown has, you give them a little seam of light, little beam of light, and they're off. They're going to exploit your weakness.
So let's see what Johnstown elects to do on this kickoff.
Crestview is set up for a onside kick. Johnstown runs the huddle onside. That's an offside penalty.
So a little confusion there on the.
Somebody forgot to kick the football.
Yeah, I think that may have been the problem.
What they try and do is, as you approach the ball, the kicker kicks the ball, and then everybody runs in front of it and tries to block Crestview, and when the ball goes over 10 yards, somebody follows and jumps on it. So not only do you kick the ball, the gentlemen in front try and block Crestview from getting to the ball, then somebody behind the line at Crestview will land on it after it goes 10 yards.
There you see the replay. Does not match your description of what should happen.
Nope. And I used to always practice the onside kicks. Only used it a couple times. We weren't very good at it. A lot depends upon the kicker, how good your kicker is. You can actually kick the ball so that on the third hop it'll jump. There it is. Jump.
Well, and it's going to be recovered by Crestview. That's Evan Hamilton, and he's still moving at the 35-yard line. Hamilton cuts back and is finally brought down at the 27-yard line.
And that brings a little enthusiasm to the sidelines.
Well, normally the front men usually just have to fall on the ball, but he caught it in stride, was able to get a nice return out of it.
And you see that every once in a while. I've seen that in college. They'll try an onside kick. A young man will pick the ball up and break through, touchdown.
I think all the football games I've ever seen, I don't know if I've ever seen an onside kick returned for a touchdown. Ross Kuhn is still in the ball game. Letting the senior get a few more snaps. Briar Godsey with the carry as we're under 5 minutes to go. Timeout taken by Johnstown. Can't take him with you.
No, try and stop the clock now. The big thing is their defense. Johnstown's defense has got to have a stop.
There's that onside kick again, and the return by Evan Hamilton. And I'll tell you what, he was, I don't know, if he doesn't cut back right here, he may have been able to turn the corner there on the right side.
Stay to the outside, follow his blocker.
Because right as he was cutting back, he had a blocker coming in that evidently he didn't see him coming.
pretty easy running the football from up here, isn't it,
Oh,
Brian?
yeah. It's easy to throw it from up here. It's easy to coach it from up here.
Yeah, that always happens.
2nd down and 9 for the Cougars. Shiflett with another carry. And the senior gets a first down.
Chase Shiflett with another first down carry for the Cougars.
135 yards for the young man. He has been a workhorse tonight. 18 carries, touchdown.
You try to get the senior one more taste of the end zone.
Let him run the series.
1st and 10 from the 14.
A lot of times a coach will take a timeout late in the game, pull his seniors out, get their standing ovation.
Kuhn letting the clock wind down. There's Shiflett. Timeout's going to be called by Johnstown with 4 minutes and 2 seconds to go.
And this is the second time we've seen Crestview, or third time?
Yes.
I think it's yes. that was the perfect answer. But I tell you, they are a well-coached team. They have a
No, it's the second time.
second time.
This is the second time we've seen them.
Yeah.
Now, OH.REPORT has been here a couple of times before that.
They are a well-coached team. They're very disciplined. They run the ball. They spread the field. They're a very balanced team. And when you're balanced, that throws a lot of pressure on defenses. They can't key on one thing. And they're just about ready to score again.
2nd and 3 from the 7. Stay on the ground. And do they get
Touchdown.
in the end
They're
zone?
calling it.
Yes.
Number 22.
I believe that was Owen.
Johnson with a 7-yard touchdown run for the Cougars.
Crestview now with 41 points on the board in their season finale. Devin Holloway, who has been very busy tonight for the Cougars. Extra point is up and good. So it's all Cougars, 42-17 with 3:55 to go.
And they did it their way. Throwing the ball, running the ball, balanced field, spread the ball out.
This definitely gives them a shot in the arm as they're in the weight room this summer and, well, next summer.
Yep.
Hopefully.
Most of these athletes will probably go into another sport if they have a sports season. I know there's high schools already canceling their basketball seasons.
Yeah, as we head into the winter and more uncertainty surrounding COVID-19 and
I can still remember when school started, Brian, the map of Ohio was basically yellow. Now it's turning red. All the counties are ending up going red. Are we going to have another shutdown?
well, all I know is right now we get to enjoy 3 minutes and 55 more seconds of high school football.
And it's showtime. Here it comes.
And Johnstown's going to start their final drive, perhaps, from the 41-yard line.
Is Crestview going to keep their starters out there? They're going to start subbing people, starting to take a couple timeouts and maybe pull their seniors out to an ovation. Their last undefeated at home this year, Brian. Undefeated at home, these seniors.
Sar looks, and it's batted away, and it's going to be a pass interference call, and I don't know about that one. Ross Kuhn making a play on the ball, and he got there right as the ball did. Look at the replay. I don't know about that one. So that's going to move the ball all the way down to the 41-yard line. So a break for Johnstown. Saar steps up in the pocket, and he is dumped at the 41-yard line. Had nowhere to go. 3.5 minutes to go.
22, Briar Gotzi, and 66, Clay Hoffman.
Saar looks to his right, and the ball looks like it slipped out of his hands. It was intended for Wes Myers and falls incomplete.
This is what happens when you're a running football team and you have to throw the ball. It doesn't look pretty out there.
41-yard line.
Well, Lucas saw that tonight as they fell to JFK. Saar looks. That one's caught by the tight end, and he continues to fight, and that's actually Brandon McConnell, excuse me, and he converts and gets first down inside the 25-yard line to about the 23.
And they're moving the ball down the field.
Saar flushed out of the pocket. And he's going to make some positive yardage out of it. It's got a first down inside the 10-yard line. It's going to be first and goal for the Johnnies. So Saar able to make things happen with his legs. There you see he outruns Frank Artis. And gets a first down with 2:51 to go. They give it to Myers. And he fights to the 6-yard line.
And, Brian, I like the hustle of Johnstown.
They are playing to the final whistle.
They're snapping to the ball, running hard.
And they get into the end zone. Myers with another touchdown. Well, and we talked about what this means for Crestview heading into the postseason and setting the tone in the weight room. And it's also doing that on the other side of the field, that even though this season has not gone the way that Mike Carter wanted it to and the team wanted it to, and they're going to have 5 losses, they're still setting the tone that this is a younger football team and we're going to play to the end of this. And then we're going to go into the offseason and we're going to get better.
And here you are behind in a ball game by more than one score. You score, their sidelines erupts in jubilation. The younger players are excited.
Extra point is up and good. The sophomore kicker with another extra point.
And I'll tell you, that young man's got a nice foot on him.
There's the Myers touchdown. And Crestview with a commanding 42-24 lead with 2:26 to go. So this will be our final game for the 2020 season. And
it's been a good season.
It has been a lot of fun, and we've been able to see some pretty good football and some pretty good programs, and looking forward to what next season brings.
And that's one of the things that's been fun, Brian. You know, a lot of these games, it's not exactly fan-friendly anymore because of the COVID. Tickets are limited. Seating is sparse. You spread everybody out. No bands. It hasn't been exactly a great football season, but being up here in the booth with you, watching the games, we've had 10, 11 games this year.
We have, and it's also been fun to watch the players and the coaches really make the best out of a bad situation. We've seen a lot of good football, that onside kick notwithstanding.
It was touched. They were offsides again. The ball has to leave the kicker's foot before you can advance.
There's the.
And there's a chance you don't practice that a lot.
But we have seen a lot of good football. We've seen a lot of good players, and I'm sure as a senior, and you look at players like Chase Shiflett and Ross Kuhn, and would they have liked this season to be a little bit more Yes, and all of us would have, but they've seemed to have made the best of it.
And, you know, you look at the season as a whole, some of the things I miss the bands at halftime. You know, they were limited on who could play, home teams only sometimes, and it's just a different season altogether.
Well, and that's one of the things of sports is it's a life lesson, and we learn to make the best out of a bad situation. And ball's on the ground, and this one may be recovered. Initially, it looked like it was recovered by Crestview, but let's see who has it.
The scrum at the bottom of the pile.
It is recovered by the Cougars. And that one almost got away from them.
And that's how it's supposed to be played.
Johnstown with one timeout remaining, 2:23 to go. They can only stop the clock one more time.
We looking at an MVP for the game tonight?
Well, I'm leaning towards Chase Shifley, the running back.
I tell you what, he's taken everything that you could ask for the young man and done more.
Ross Kuhn, the senior quarterback, stays in, and they're letting the seniors get a few more touches. And Shiflett there with the carry up inside the 40.
20 carries tonight, 151 yards. The young man's been the workhorse. Every time they needed tough yardage, who'd they give it the ball to? Shiflett. There were a lot of situations where we had 3rd and 5. If they didn't get the 5 yards, and who you give it to? Your tailback.
Well, and he did come through in very good fashion tonight for the Cougars. Had 810 yards on the season coming in. So if right now he's at 951 yards.
Unless he has a breakaway here, I don't know if he'll make that 1,000. But look at the season. Shortened season, didn't know what was going on.
He is in the game. Evan Hamilton is in the game. Shiflett pushes the pile down to the 30. And a flag is down. In on the stop was Caleb Schneider. So it's going to be a personal foul against Johnstown.
That's their 4th penalty. Face mask going to be a 15-yarder. 4th penalty for 40 yards tonight.
2 minutes, 7 seconds to go.
First and 10 from the Johnstown 16-yard line.
So 1st and 10 from the 16-yard line. Shiflett protecting the football.
Still pulls 4 yards. 165 yards for the young man on 22 carries. Not a bad night.
Chase Shiflett with the carry once again. Tackle on the play for Johnstown.
120 and counting.
Quarterback is
guess they want to get Shiflett in the end zone one more time.
Well, he can score from anywhere on the field. All they got to do is hand him the ball.
No, they're going to go up and they're going to just down the ball.
Yeah, victory formation, run the clock out. Quarterback's going to watch the official. When he puts his hands up in the air, he knows there's 5 seconds to go, and that's when he'll snap it. They down it. The problem is that's a minus yard for the quarterback.
So Shiflett with 22 carries, 165 yards, and a touchdown.
And he was a workhorse tonight.
Well, and he got some big runs in some big moments.
Especially in the first quarter.
Another snap. And that is going to do it. So Johnstown's going to go home with their 5th loss of the season, as Crestview with an impressive 42-24 win to end the season. We'll be back to wrap it up after this. You've been watching high school football live and free exclusively on the OH Report.
We are uniting Park National's family banks under one name to serve you more.
This bank's about service to the community.
I mean, your customers become your family, and by and large, you become their family.
Customers do come in and they do feel like they're a part of our family, and they feel like they know us and we know them and we care.
Park National, our family of banks, all together now.
Kissel's Lawn Care. There's no job too big or too small for us to handle. With top-of-the-line equipment, we are guaranteed to complete your next landscaping job efficiently and professionally. A hard-working, dedicated team is what we take pride in, bringing to every job to make sure the results are the best they can be. So the next time you have a landscaping project that needs done, think smart and think Kissel.
We are back here at Crestview High School where the Cougars end the season in impressive fashion, 42-24 over Johnstown. And as we talked about, this was not a game where they scheduled a cupcake to bring in here and let's end the regular season with a win. They knocked off a Johnstown team that was pretty good.
And they showed it tonight. I mean, they ran the ball 300-some yards tonight, and they were a tough ball club. But you got to hand it to Crestview. You know, they got a group of seniors. They have a lot of leadership out there. I thought they were going to just walk away the first quarter. Things got a little tough for them, but they hung together. They made their minor adjustments, and they played Crestview football, undefeated at home.
Now, we looked at how that first quarter went. No, neither team punted. Everybody scored on their possessions in that first quarter, and I remember thinking this could be a 60-55 ball game, but the defenses then really took over in the second quarter.
Yeah, your defensive coaches are good. Both staffs are very good. So after the first quarter, things kind of settled down. Your defensive coaches make their minor adjustments, move a linebacker over, blitz this guy, angle this guy differently. Let's set this up a little bit differently, and the defenses showed up the second quarter.
Now, and as we talked about there, especially in the fourth quarter, Crestview now able to go into the offseason with a lot of confidence. They were able to send their seniors off in the right way, and they're able to hand the torch to the younger guys, and they set the tone for what they want to do in the offseason.
And just with you and I sitting up here, I just watched the seniors take their last walk down the football field and turn. You know, they put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears on this football field, and it's going to pay off in the long run for this program.
Now, a lot has been made, and we've talked about it a lot during the season about 2020 and COVID and all that stuff. Does this make it – what does this do for the seniors and for the coaches that this was your senior year and we had to play through this, but we actually did, and we were able to accomplish some things?
And they did very good. They won a playoff game. They did very well. But it's different. It was a different season. Every team was in the playoff, Brian. I mean – when does that happen? Every team makes it. This isn't basketball.
First-year coaches can go, hey, I took the team to the playoffs in my first season.
This isn't basketball where every team's thrown into it. You know, every team had the opportunity to play in it, and it's going to highlight your season. 10 years from now, you're going to talk about we're undefeated at home here at Crestview. We are in the playoffs. You know, we made a good run at it. We had a great team. We had a winning record.
Now, you talked about the players and the coaches making that final walk. You've been there. What's that like?
Oh, it's kind of sad. You know, a lot of your players, they live and die football. You know, your parents are in the stands with you. Yeah, they take care of it. You know, this is football. This was your life. It ends just like that. And for a lot of these players out here, they put on their last football uniform tonight. You know, very few of them go to college. The ones that do go to college, some will make it, some will not. So your college career or your high school football playing days are over tonight.
Let's take a look at the final numbers, and we're going to see pretty balanced and a lot of offense on both sides. But we did not expect Johnstown to pass the ball particularly well, and especially when they get down, they're not built to come from behind.
No, and Crestview did a great job. You know, they worked it, and they're a very balanced team. Look at the stats, 208, 186. It's a balanced program. They made things happen. Rushing on the other side, it was a big difference.
305 yards rushing for Johnstown, only 46 yards through the air, 351 total yards. First downs are virtually even. It got a little sloppy there in the fourth quarter with penalties.
Yeah, once the score got out of hand, kids started changing up, you know, and you get a little lazy out here. You know, it happens. Penalties will happen. But I thought it was a clean game, hard-fought game. Both teams had the enthusiasm all the way. Johnstown still jumped up on the field, still made things happen. It was a good ball game.
Rushing yards, this was not a surprise. Crestview ran the ball for 208 yards. They also threw for 186, 394 total yards, 20 first downs. We saw pretty much the offense that we expected to see out of Crestview.
Yeah, they have their seniors. They walked out they worked with their seniors. They made things happen out there. Good football.
Well, Chase Shiflett is our player of the game. We were attempting to get him up here, and I don't think that's going to happen. So congratulations to Chase Shiflett. He is our player of the game. An outstanding night, 22 carries, 165 yards, and a touchdown. So congratulations to Chase. He is our Kissel's Lawn Care player of the game. With the win, Crestview is now 8-3 as they end the regular season. Johnstown drops to 6-5. The final score tonight, Crestview 42 and Johnstown 24. Our thanks to tonight's broadcast team. Our producer was Travis Berardi, and the fine camera work was courtesy of Jory Hollenbeck. Most of all, our thanks to you for joining us. Once again, the final score, Crestview 42 and Johnstown 24. You've been watching high school playoff football live and free exclusively on the OH Report, powered by BS Media Production. Thanks again to our generous sponsors for making all this possible. Keep it locked into the OH Report, your new home for live sports coverage in North Central Ohio and beyond. For Bruce Wyrick, I'm Brian Harder. So long from Crestview.